Look, I know what all you're thinking right now. This is some crappy Chinese clone. Wrong. This is a game changer. I have tested this, I have taken it apart, and it is a game changer. It's great. You are going to find out in this video today, and we're going to be looking at this controller and putting it through its paces. Let's do it! Hey guys, it's Shock here from the Shock Block, and today we are going to be looking at this controller that is a clone of the N64 controller released for the Nintendo Switch Online service. It's very fascinating to me because the thing is that there's so many third-party wireless N64 controllers out there. There's the Retro Fighters, there's the Tribute 64, there's the Admiral Hyperkin. There's so many different ones and they all look different. But this is the only one that actually looks like the N64 original controller design. And I've kind of recently wanted the NSO version, like the official one, but it's, always out of stock and it's, being scalped. And I'm not going to buy it at scalper price. So I was like, is there a way I could just, experience that at a better price? And I saw these controllers that looked just like them, but they were being sold by a different company and they looked kind of generic. I'm like, okay, I don't know. But they were cheap, kind of cheap. And I was like, I'm willing to take a chance. And nobody is talking about this online. Nobody's making a review about it. Nobody's mentioned these. So I just wanted to take a chance and try them out. And yeah, that's what we're going to look at today. So you get this kind of generic looking box, and I've already taken it out of its bubble wrap, so that's why it doesn't have anything covering it. It was in bubble wrap when it first arrived. So I've already gone and tested it out. So I'll tell you my thoughts in a little bit about how it all works and plays, but I'm just showing you what all comes in the box. In this little plastic baggie, we got a replacement joystick, so that in case you ever want to replace the analog stick, because people tend to complain about saying not really complain, but of course the N64 controller's joystick is notorious for messing up, getting worn out over time, over a month or so. I'm assuming. I haven't really had one go really bad on me, except for my my original one that I used to own, that just would always just hang to the side all the time after so many years of using it as a kid. But yeah, I know how that is. It gets as more and more you do this, the more it rubs against the plastic and it can mess up the joystick. But yeah, from what I've noticed, this feels actually pretty good. This joystick feels pretty solid and comfortable. I had this other controller that I bought where it was it said replacement stick on the eBay page, and I'm just ooh, replacement stick, that sounds like it might be reliable, but the stick was very uncomfortable. I didn't like the way it felt, and so I didn't really use it all that much. But this feels much better. This feels great, and the buttons feel like the original controller. They feel actually like the N64 controller. All the layout, the ZR, this button, everything is just like it is on the NSO controller. It's just black. I don't know why it's not gray. I meant to get the gray one. The picture showed the gray one, but it gave me black. It's just kind of a luck of the draw, I guess, of which color you get, because you had no option to choose which color you wanted. So it's fine. I don't really mind it being black. It's kind of cool, actually. But I would have liked the classic gray myself. But yeah, it seems to work really well. How it works is, I just turned it on with the start button. You push start to turn it on, and then you turn it on with the start button, and then we have this 2.4 gigahertz connector that plugs into the console to have it receive a signal, to have it connect to it. And there's a little button right here on the left, and I had to use that to get it to connect, because the instructions say to just turn this on and it just connects automatically after you plug this in, or if it's USB, depending on which one you're using. It just says push start, and then just push this button right here, I believe, and then it just connects. But for me, I had to read the instructions and read the part that says, if it does not connect, try this. And then I had to hit the reset button on here and then try syncing it up again with this using the button on here. And then you use the button right here on this one to sync it up with the controller. If you're using it for NSO, which is, I would imagine, is what you would buy this for, because everyone wants to play NSO nowadays, I'm sure, but I like to stick to the original console myself or play it on an emulator on my computer. So that's what I mainly bought it for. I don't have NSO because I don't want to pay for that, but I'm sure it's a great service. I haven't looked into it. It looks nice. I'd rather just play it on console or something else. So anyways, the controller itself feels really good. Even the D-pad feels a lot less mushy than the original N64 controller. Like the N64 controller itself, like, isn't bad, but this feels a little bit better. Like, it's built a little bit better. I haven't tested it all that much, the D-pad itself. I've just really gone with 3D games mostly. So we're gonna take a look at those and put this controller through its paces and see what all it can handle. How it goes. I'll be sure to do that analog test that people have talked about in the past and compare it to an original controller, see how it matches up to that. Oh, and by the way, I noticed that, yes, the receiver is very similar to the one used by Retrobit. If you notice, they look almost the same, it's just that, like, there's no indicator here as to whether it's the M or the R on the switcher here. So I haven't really tested out which one's the M and R. I'm assuming it's the exact same on this one, but I will have to test it out and find out which one's the M and R on this one. But I am assuming that it is the exact same as it is with this connector, because they look very similar to each other. And the USB connector also looks very similar to Retrobit's. So if you have a Tribute 64, it probably works the exact same as that does with this one. So you'll know it's connected when the red light right here is fully on and not blinking. Start the benchmark, hold the stick in its most upwards position and press A. Oh. Okay, so I know this looks a little off, but I actually went back and did this 2 more times, and it actually looked really good the second time. This is the 3rd test on this controller, and it actually looks pretty close to an OEM controller. So from that alone, this analog stick is actually pretty good. It's good quality. And I know you might be thinking, well, that's a different TV shock. Like, what the heck? Why is this picture taken from a different TV and not your TV? Well, it's because my N64 at the time started wearing out and it wasn't able to show a video output for a little while. And I'll explain more about it later at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that part. Alright, so here we are playing some Star Fox 64 with the controller. And I gotta say, this feels pretty smooth. Feels nice. Feels very similar to the original controller. Though, I have to admit that moving the analog stick around compared to an OEM controller, it feels a little bit looser. Just a little bit looser. But I kind of like that. Like, at least I'm comparing it to my old red controller I got back in like 2008 from eBay. So take that with what you will. But the analog stick feels looser, and like I can move it a little bit more easily than with an original controller. I don't know. I kind of like the way it feels. Just a little bit more is what I'm saying. I never understood how you're supposed to get that stupid power-up when that building falls right in front of it like that. It almost feels like bait. It just falls right in front of that power-up. Not the best at this game, but I'm decent. I haven't played it a whole lot. I've never actually beaten this game before. But yeah, this controller feels pretty good. The buttons are pretty easily, used just fine.
Something's wrong with the G diffuser.
I could just press them pretty good. They feel pretty, they don't feel mushy. They feel pretty pronounced. feel like how you would imagine them to feel, or how you would expect them to feel, is what I should say. I couldn't say Falco. Oh well. I'm surprised how well they were able to replicate the buttons. They feel nice and pronounced. They don't feel like mushy or like cheap. They feel actually like good quality plastic. I'm surprised. Let's go ahead and try another game. Alright, so here we are playing Mario 64. Just demonstrating that I can do quite a bit of moves in this game pretty easily. Just, Now, I'm not the best at backwards lawn jumping, but I will try to do that for you in a second here when we get inside. But overall, just running around in circles and moving around feels really good and really smooth. I think it feels great. I'm actually quite impressed with how this analog stick handles with the 2 games I've played with it so far. So let's go ahead and try to do a backwards long jump. I'm not the greatest at like doing it like really fast, but I can. Yeah, I'm not good at getting that rhythm down.
Go.
Let's see if I can actually, oh, wait. I can still do it. Oh, okay. That was really lucky. I did not expect to do that. I meant to do a different, shortcut. Oh, come on. Ah! Darn. Okay, this time no fancy shortcut work. Just gonna do it. I missed the extra life, but that's okay. There we go.
Here we go.
That worked out. I thought I was gonna fall off the edge for a second there, but I hadn't saved myself. Oh. Try to beat this guy. Let's see if we can do a little bit of cheating. Oh snap! He's beating me. No! Come back! No, I refuse to lose! Oh, yes! Haha! That's what you get! Actually pulled it off. I'm kind of surprised. Alright, I beat the penguin first try that time. At least I had some practice without the racing earlier, so that's good. Alright, I think I've demonstrated Mario 64 enough, so let's move on to one more game. Alright, so here we have Smash Remix, which is a ROM hack of Super Smash Bros. For the N64. And this game is a heavily modified version of the game, which has new characters and new stages. A lot of new stages, actually, so it's pretty awesome. Quit confusing me like that. You're stunning me or whatever you're doing. There we go. Haha. Enjoy a grenade, why don't you? Oh, I got it. I thought he was gonna actually avoid that somehow. That was pretty good, okay. The great face. Of course, I have to wait a few seconds for him to be invisible. Be not be invincible. I feel like the bomb is kind of OP in a way if you do get a good hit on them. No, I only have one life left. Come on. Come on, baby. Let's... No! No! Ah! I didn't win. I did not win. Oh, well. I mean, you can tell that I was at least trying my best, and I almost won. Okay, so that's interesting. So the Z button is separate from there because on the other NSO one, the Z button's like still attached.
Well, it's similar to the original,
right?
Because like the original has this board in this exact same spot, and kind of goes along the same way.
Yeah, it seems like they built the analog stick different than the original because original has like these little like teeth or like little nubs that go in, and this one looks like it's just a plain circular.
Mm-hmm. With like the new style controllers. So yeah, these are the same as like the Power A controllers. And I think some of the PS2 controllers used some of these too.
Oh yeah.
Actually, they use the same potentiometers as the Power A stuff, but these are, let's see, like GameCube-ish. There's no push down.
Right.
So it's just around, but a little bit more modern setup.
So it probably won't like wear out as much as the original. Like,
I don't know.
this doesn't look like it has that like bowl or that plastic that thing with plastic mess it up.
This replaces all of that.
Right.
So yeah, there's no like the bowl, the little plastic half moon pieces with the gears. This replaces all of that.
Okay.
It's important to pay attention to these numbers that are right here, and then you can order a new piece, like the parts that I showed you over there.
Yeah.
Those are for the PS4. Those are 10,000 ohm resistance. But if you match up these numbers
Yeah.
on the same part from AliExpress, then you can get the new potentiometers for this, and then solder them in and fix your stick drift on this.
Okay, cool.
So, well, all the parts are available. The stick itself, you should be able to find it, but like it feels like a strong enough stick.
I guess it is just, yeah, similar rumble motor to the one on the NSO. But it felt pretty cheap when I was using it. I was like, this doesn't feel as good as the original rumble pack.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't feel as good as like a PS4 rumble or anything like that. It feels
Well, the
like...
PS4 has 2 of these motors in there.
Right.
Oh, that's pretty basic.
Nice.
So, yeah, obviously the black silicone parts. I don't know if you can tell in the light, but the gold parts are kind of separated.
Yeah.
And then what the black part does is once that presses down, it'll connect the circuit, which will register a button press.
Okay.
And here's your LEDs.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And how much are these running typically?
They're like $35.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good deal. 'Cause, like everything seems like it's pretty nice quality for Chinese. Manufactured 625 to 22. Here's your antenna. Especially with USB-C charging. That's nice. Yeah. That's pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, I was hoping, like, yeah, I think everything but the whole pack is pretty high quality.
Mm-hmm. It just doesn't seem like it rumbles enough.
Well, it rumbles enough, it just doesn't feel good on my hands, I guess.
Doesn't feel quality.
Yeah, it kind of just feels like a lackluster buzz.
Gotcha. Yeah, for what it is. It feels nice. It's got a tiny little battery, but
Oh yeah, I think the NSO one was pretty small too. I remember SpawnWave saying that the battery is pretty small.
I don't know what kind of battery usage this thing takes.
Hmm.
But yeah, for what it is, it seems pretty stout.
Like with that analog stick, there's no way that you can replace that with like another like a GC stick or something, a GameCube one.
No, it's not OEM style at all.
Yeah,
It uses a new style
very.
thumbstick.
So it's not going to be anything like Wolfden's video where he took apart an NSO controller and tried to...
I think I watched like a tiny portion of that.
Yeah, he said it was really hard to do, but I feel like it'd be even harder with this kind of controller. It's really easy because what?
I don't have most of the screws.
Oh.
I'm missing 2, 3, 5. Those little deals. But like some of the nicer ones on AliExpress have little magnetized spots.
Yeah.
So yeah, as compared to the other one, the silicone is on the Z mechanism.
Right.
So it's still in the same spot. It still uses kind of that ribbon cable stuff. Of course, this also has the rumble pack thing. So yeah, nice thing is you can unplug these and put a new one in.
Right.
So, and eventually all capacitors go bad. So like on any of your retro stuff, it's good to take it apart every so many years just to check the capacitors.
Mm-hmm.
It might be kind of nice if they, if somebody released one that was kind of set up like that black controller that I just took apart.
Yeah.
With the more modern, it's like I'm not a huge fan of the like potentiometer style,
Oh yeah.
but that's nice and smooth comparatively.
Earlier, were you saying that you wish they made a new N64 controller?
Like if they made like a module like what's in your black one
Yeah.
in a shape like this,
Oh yeah.
so you could just swap them out easy.
Right. If you just swap it out for the old one, yeah, that makes sense.
I think they would sell well. Plus, like those thumbstick mechanisms, if you buy those in bulk at all, they're 50 cents or less on AliExpress.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I've done some more testing with the controller, and I have to say I am very impressed with this. I was so ready to just say, this is a crappy knockoff Chinese clone that doesn't work, doesn't fit the bill. They tried their best, but they didn't even try. I wanted to be like, oh, they didn't even try with this thing, but no, they actually did. Whoever was in charge of this actually cared, and they actually went above and beyond. They gave you a replacement stick. You can even take this stick out really easily. I actually don't know how my friend did it, but my friend, who's really good with electronics, he was able to just pluck it out of there really carefully, and then you can replace it with the other one that they give you in the box, which is pretty cool that you can do that. But this stick has not messed up at all for me yet. It's really smooth, feels really good. I like it, and I think they did a good job. They did a great job with this. The buttons feel nice. It always connects pretty well with the receiver on the N64, and through USB. Sometimes I have to reset, of course. Sometimes I have to push the reset button on here and have it reconnect. But it doesn't have any real issues with connecting that much, really, at all. It's great. It works great. I've had many play sessions with this for the past few weeks. It's been 3 weeks since I've had this thing. I just, been pretty busy with work, and I just haven't been able to get this video out. But I'm happy to finally get this out to you guys and tell you, I recommend this controller. I tried it out with the Switch, and it actually does work. And I don't have any games to really test it on. I did test it with Street Fighter, and you can do some Hadoukens and stuff. You can do stuff with this D-pad. It's a decent D-pad. It's pretty good. You can do a Hadouken and stuff, but it's not the best D-pad. I probably would recommend a Super Nintendo controller over this, but it's not. It's actually kind of close to the original one. In some ways, so I'd say it's pretty good. So the buttons feel responsive and great. I was really impressed. I'm happy with this controller. I'm happy with this purchase. I'm not gonna get rid of it or anything. I'm gonna keep this because it's actually a really good controller. I might use it quite a bit for the N64 because it's wireless. That's pretty convenient. The rumble, that's the one problem. That's my one thing I really don't like about this controller. Is the rumble sucks. I tried it with Star Fox and Super Smash Bros. And it's just it's loud, annoying, and the vibration on your hands, it does not feel that great. It's not crazy the original Rumble Pack is, but it just doesn't feel that good either. It just feels it just doesn't feel that great. It doesn't feel that great. It doesn't sound good. It's distracting. It's annoying. It doesn't feel like I'm actually feeling the game. It doesn't feel oh yeah Rumble. It's kind of cheap. That's the only part I think they went and cheapened out on, was they got a crappy Rumble motor. So I am deducting a point for that. But I'll say that if you just turn off the Rumble, keep it on the memory card setting, you got a great controller. It's a great controller. And if you're not that big into Rumble, I'd say go for it. These NSO controllers for the Switch, and the fact that it works on console, it's a good extra functionality, extra point for it. But if you're just looking for one that works for the Switch, it is cheaper. It is a good controller. If you really want that Rumble, I understand. People can be picking. They want that Rumble to actually feel good. But if you don't really mind it all that much, and you just want a good controller for the NSO, the Nintendo Switch Online, for the expansion pack, I'd say go for it. You won't regret it. It actually is a good controller. It functions really well. It doesn't have much wrong with it at all. Really, it's quality stuff. Buttons are responsive. The analog stick's really smooth, and it's a nice tight stick. It's not slippery. Like, it looks like it's kind of like, loose. It's like it feels like a tiny bit looser than the original, but it is tight enough and grippy enough and good and precise. Like, I like this stick quite a bit. I think it works really well. And I played quite a bit of games with it, and I think it works great. I'm really happy with this controller. I'd say, go for it. I recommend this controller, and I'm surprised how good of a job they did with it. It's not complete 1-to-1, but I'd say it's almost there. It's very, very good. I'd say it's like I'll give it 85%. 85% there towards the original. Because I don't actually have the original like NSO the one that they've remade. I have like a controller, an original controller for the N64 that I can compare it to at least. And I'd say, yeah, it's very close. But unfortunately, I don't really have one of the actual NSO controllers there, the official ones, because scalpers and whatnot, and it's always out of stock. That's why I was, interested in this. I was like, I kind of want one just because it's cool. And I like that original feel. I like that the analog stick has more range to it, too, when it comes to these kind of games. And you want to feel like you can move it, like, especially for games like Star Fox or, like, where you control, like, a ship, like in Star Wars Squadron. Those are the kind of games where you want a joystick like this, where you get a little bit more range. And it's, like, easier to guide your ship around and stuff. So yeah, I'd say this is a great controller for what it is. I'm very impressed with it, and its quality. I'd say it's 85% like the original. So I'd say I'd give it an 8 out of 10. The only thing deducting it is the rumble, and I guess the other point I'm going against it, I guess, is I'd say 8 out of 10 because of the fact that the stick is not entirely spot on, but it's very, very close. So it's basically an 8.5 out of 10 at this point. So the stick is very, very close, but the rumble sucks. So it's about an 8.5 out of 10. So I'd say it's a great controller, and I'd recommend it for those looking for a good option for the NSO. Definitely get this if you're looking for a controller for playing on Nintendo Switch Online, or if you want one for your N64 console, because that's why I got it. I think it's pretty great for that too. Nice wireless controller, and if your old N64 controller for your console is the stick isn't feeling as good, it's kind of like just doesn't feel as great. This one is really smooth. And I actually kind of like this more than the original N64 controller. So for me, it's a 9 out of 10 actually, because I like the analog stick a little more. But I'm giving it as far as like being faithful to the original stick, I'm giving it 8.5 because I know there's people out there who want it to feel like the original, and I don't blame them for that. But I actually think this stick is smoother and better, in my opinion. I think it feels better because it's a little bit more loose. It doesn't feel as like with my original stick, the one I have. Maybe it's because it's old, but I know I've had that one for a while, and I know it's good. So I feel like it's a little bit too tight. A little bit too much give to it when you try to move the analog stick. So that's what I don't like about it. I don't like that about it. So I like that this one is a lot easier to just guide around, just move. Like, when I go left, I move left. I don't have to give it an extra push just for it to go left or right. That's what I like about this one. That's what I really like. So yeah, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helped you guys out. Alright, so what just happened in the video was that my good old N64 decided to just die on me. It's not completely dead. It's just, it turns on, and, it gets a signal and everything from the game and stuff. It's, you can read games technically, because I was able to get a little bit of sound coming out of this thing by, like, putting pressure on it, but it won't show a video signal. There's no video signal at all. So my N64 is it's just out of luck now. It's just out of whack. I can't use it anymore. It's not functional entirely right now anymore. So I'm looking to get a new system for myself. And yeah, luckily I have a friend who's really good at soldering, so I can remod it with the RGB board. I can just remod it onto the new one, so it won't cost as much, thankfully. But yeah, that's okay. So do I blame the Rad2X or the wireless controller for that? No, I don't. I don't at all, because I did several tests. I tested the Rad2X on his console, and it worked just fine. So it wasn't the Rad2X giving out or having a problem. And I wanted to see if maybe the power was the problem. So I tried a different power supply. That didn't help. I tried to see... So the last test I did was I had my friend bring over his N64, and I plugged in the Rad2X and the wireless controller and played on it for at least an hour or so. And nothing happened. Didn't mess up his N64. Didn't give it like a video output problem at all. It just was totally functional and totally fine. So it's just the fault of this system being old and having some kind of solder joint mess up. I don't know. It was something. My friend who is good at soldering, he doesn't know everything about N64s or about consoles and everything, but he looked at it as much as he could, and he couldn't figure it out. He's just like, it's probably just a chip or something gave out. So I say it's not the controller, and it's not the Rad2X. It has to be something else. I'm pretty sure that the Rad2X probably was giving it some pressure, though. I say it's the Rad2X because it's the thing that is doing the video output, and it is the thing, you know, pressuring the power to be like, okay, gotta revert power to this as well as everything else. So maybe the controller being 2.4 gigahertz is partially to blame as well, but that doesn't mean the controller is going to mess up your system. I just want to tell you guys that this controller will not do that. It has the exact same dongle as the Tribute 64 that Retrobit uses, and I don't believe they would ever have anything to do with messing up people's N64s. I believe that this one is just old and it just gave out because of the pressure of the Rad2X. I think that's what it was. And, you know, I'm not trying to blame Retro Team. I'm not trying to point the blame at them or Castlemania Games or whoever made the Rad2X. I'm not trying to point the blame at them. I'm just saying, you know, this thing's old. It probably just gave out, and it's just how things are. These things are old consoles. I'm not pointing blame at them. I'm just saying, you know, that's probably what happened, is that the Rad2X, you know, it's reverting power from the N64 to get an RGB, you know, upscale output. It doesn't have its own power source. It runs off of the N64 itself. So it probably, you know, just wore it out. And I'm not saying it's their fault for designing it that way. I'm just saying, like, these things happen. And, yeah. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that it wasn't the controller's fault at all. And I don't really know what happened. I'm pretty sure it was probably just the N64 console itself. It's just old and it gave out. Something happened. I don't know. Something went wrong. But anyway, it's not a big deal. I found a good deal on eBay, and it's going to be fine. So it's not a big deal for me, and I'm not too torn about it. But, yeah, these things happen. What are you going to do? It's retro technology. It's old technology. What are you going to do? Anyway, let's end the review. So yeah, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I hope this helps you out. This is Shock on the Block, sign out.